Tav is not just the beginning and the end, but it's the end looking exactly like he said from the beginning it would look like. That's his signature. And so when he has Aleph Tav, and you say, oh, that's Yeshua, the beginning and the end. It's like, no, it's much more than that. It's a qualifier. It's a stamp. It's his mark that he says, you know my words. If you can read my words, you better count on every single letter of every single word as I planned is exactly like it's going to play out. And if anybody goes to change it, to nullify it, to eliminate it, contradict it, alter it, or say, that's not the case anymore, you can bet it's not me. Because it doesn't work that way. And therefore, when Yeshua said, I only say what I hear my Father saying, I only do what I see my Father doing. And the disciples said, come on, Jesus, just show us the Father, that's all we need. And he says, you guys don't get it. I am exactly the expression and manifestation in tangible form of what the Ein Sof Unlimited One is all about. There's no distinction. If you've apprehended me, seen me, heard me, comprehended, perceived my words, it's identical to the Father. It's bigger than the Father. It's the Ein Sof, the unlimited, eternal, infinite, was put into an apprehensible format that we could apprehend, that we could grasp. The word bet is a tangible format, a matter, cosmos. The word ben, which is son, is more than just son of the Father, meaning the offspring. It's the life, it's the material manifestation brought to life of everything that the Father determined to express in a limited cosmological form. When I say cosmological, it's like cosmos, the universe. The whole universe was put into matter, what the Abba had in his thoughts. As I have planned, it would be manifest into material matter. Bet means body, means house. It's like an embryo. It's to put into an embodiment. A son being birthed is a picture of that which was the purpose of the father and mother, of their love, of their intention made into form. But this concept of Abba is not just father. If you look in the dictionary, the word Ab also means the prime factor, the original thought, the origin, the source. When we think of father, it's a very much of a limited notion of what Ab really is. So here you have Aleph being the silent letter. All the other letters have a form, but it's pronounced as an E, just to give it something to enoki. But it doesn't really have a sound. I don't know who made this building. I can see the building, and I can infer that some architect made this building. But I can only guess what he had in mind from what he made. That's why the letter Aleph is silent. It's the infinite, eternal one who had the idea on the other side of the creation event. The creation event is the bet. It's the cosmos. It's everything that he made. We don't see him, we don't hear his voice, but we see what he made. And the glory of Elohim is manifesting in the handiwork of what he made. But the concept of everything he had in mind is expressed not only in what he made, but how he set the whole thing in motion and the whole plan all the way through, becoming the letter Tav, where the plan is accomplished. Yeshua being the manifestation, the Ben of the Ab, is all these letters laid out in their sequential order, boom, 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 as emet as the aleph, page by page, becoming tav. Like a row of dominoes. You set them up and you knock them down. This is kind of the opposite. You plan it out and you set them all up. That's who Yeshua is as the manifestation, the evidence, the one showing us. Now the other interesting thing about Mashiach, as you were brought it up earlier, it means the anointed one. Mashiach. The letter Mem, and then a Shin, and then a Yod, and then a Het. Mashiach. If you look at these first two letters, Mem, Shin, mush, is where in English we get the word mushy. Mushy is a feeling. Somebody feels mushy. Literally, mush means to feel. Shiach literally means communicator. He's the graspable, feelable communicator. He's the communication, the word, made fleshly so that we can feel him. But he's the anointed, the authorized, the particular one that was sent, which was the word, the communication made graspable. The letter Gimel is the letter with a foot. It's the dispatched ambassador, the voyager, coming from the eternal side of creation, coming through being born of a woman into the betness as an embryonic vehicle, through as a portal into this realm. I will, the omnipotent eternal one, be born of cosmology, of matter into this universe as the voyager to Dalet, the earth. Dalet, the fourth letter. 4 speaks of north, south, east, west, summer, winter, spring, fall, earth, air, fire, water. 4 speaks of earthiness. That's kind of a esoteric philosophical thing that people talk about in those circles. So just for what it's worth, just like the hourglass shape, from this realm going through this zone into this realm, I will put myself into material matter form as the voyager, give myself a foot to come to the earth. Hey, revealed as Vav, number 6, the man who Zion, the weapon, would be slain, and Het, entombed into the enclosure, Tet, sealed, the big stone rolled in front, and a Roman stamp put on it. Yod, by my own hand I have done this. The minion of these first 10 letters, the collection, is the Creator himself saying what he would do to engage his own creation. These 3 letters, Bet Gimel Dalet, Baged, Baged, means clothing, but it's camouflaged. It's baggy clothing. It means to deceive or beguile or hide the true form. I will embody myself in bagged, camouflaged attire that looks like a man who would reveal the door by which we could transport back to the house of the Father. By being slain, he would be entombed so that any man who would regard him, the Zion is the cut-off weapon, no entry here. But by his death, we were then permitted entry by the gatekeeper to enter the Het, the kingdom of Yod He Vav He, his insignia, his seal, that when we enter the kingdom, he would claim us as his own. The first 10 letters. But this is ancient Hebrew. This isn't Christian. This isn't Jewish. Kaf. As a suffix, it means like. As a prefix, it means, as a prefix, it means like, or as. As a suffix, it means you or yours. So all this, if you write the kaf at the end of the next letter, it's like, all this is yours. All this is for you. So that like, now lamed, well, kaf also, could be read as lines. It's like an open hand, but if you turn a hand this way, it's like lines of instruction. the constitution of this kingdom. Lamed is a shepherd's staff. It means teach and learn. The constitution of the kingdom of Yod He Vav He is the Torah that we're supposed to teach and learn. Mem, place of the womb, of warm affection, of nurturing, of growing, of developing in order to birth, in order to bring forth. He said, if you regard my Torah, it'll bring forth the blessing. If you do not regard the Torah, like a woman who drinks and smokes and does drugs while she's pregnant is going to bring forth a child which is not healthy. You will bring forth the curse if you do not regard the words of the teaching instruction of this Torah. The Samech is a picture of the menorah, that vine and the branches. Yeshua said, I'm the vine and you're the branches. You stay plugged into me and you will grow and develop. He is the one who puts this whole thing together. He's also the Ayin, the one who overlooks and oversees and the judge of all the earth. He says, I'm watching what's going on. I will return every man's way upon his head, the scales of balance of justice. Pay, the mouth. He will give us the regard of his explanation of his matters, of how this whole thing works. Zadi is a sprout. It's a picture of resurrection. It's a picture of the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis, that it was het, entombed within, appearing to be dead. Kuf is a picture of after this. It's a mushroom shape. The ascension. Yeshua came back, resurrected from the dead, ascended into heaven. He said he's coming back, gathering his hosts of heaven. This kuf shape is a singular and a multiple, a 1 and a 0. There's these types of a binary code of a 1 and a 0, a male and a female. There's these pictures which we go on and on about. But it's a picture of not only where we get the word kumi, which is to say a cone, that which stands up. Arise and shine, kumi ori. He rose up, but he's also gathering his forces and coming back in the inverse shape. Resh, the exalted man, the Mashiach in his splendor. Shin, El Shaddai, the Almighty. Teeth and fire coming back after this. Kuf, after this, he will come back to destroy his enemies. Destroy heaven and earth, remake them, Tav, and accomplish the covenant, just as he said. There's a picture of what he was going to do, what he was going to give us to conform us into his image, and then coming back to these three words, these three letters, Reshin, Tav, Rashat, literally means a net, a trap, a snare, to gather up all your stuff and take it away with you. Kuf actually is a symbol, kind of like a sickle, a harvest sickle. After this, harvest day. Gather up your stuff, take it home with you. Right there, embedded in the Hebrew alphabet, is a picture of the first coming, the second coming. And these matters that are between the het and the kuf are for our regard to enter the kingdom. The interesting thing about that, the word that's spelled het kuf is the word chok. It's translated commandment. But het is a fence. Here's a fence. There's a four-color door on the Mishnah. Kuf is this overview, like a lid on the fence. So you have kind of a picture of a treasure box with one of those big dome lids. Kuf is also a picture of the pillar of fire and pillar of smoke that was over the Ark of the Covenant, but we'll get to that probably in the next section coming up here. I'll show you the Mishkan pattern that proves this whole thing. The chok, het, kuf, are the letters that give you the picture of a treasure box. Spell it the other way around, kuf, het, and it means take hold or grab hold of. Everything within this treasure box is within the letters het through kof. Het, tet, yod, kaf, lamed, mem, nun, samek, ayin, pei, zadi, kuf. That's his treasure box. And it's in his commandments. But sorry, you don't get any. You don't get any of his treasure. You know why? Because his commandments were done away with. Nailed to the cross and buried. Too bad. Why are we coming back to his chok? Why are we coming back to his commandments? It's where life is. It's where his treasure is. And you know why we lost them? Because our forefathers threw them away. Our forefathers thought they were worthless. Treasure, this old thing, whatever. Yahweh said, if you guys don't want my stuff, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call in, there's this word called peritzim. Well, the word im, as a suffix, is our s. It's plural. Peretz. Peretz. It sounds like pirates. Yahweh called in the pirates. People who break things, have no regard to the value of things, steal things, murder, pillage. Yahweh says, Israel, I gave you the best stuff I had. And because you had no value for it, I'm going to call in, he looked around, it says, for the worst people he could find. Called them pirates. He called them in and says, come get all Israel's stuff. He says in another place, if you close your ears when I speak, I'm going to close my ears while you scream, while your enemies tear you apart and steal all your stuff. In fact, I'm going to call your enemies in to tear you apart and steal all your stuff. Because you guys, Israel, have torn apart my house. You guys have disregarded everything I said, my best stuff. Okay. But God has a wonderful plan for your life. Really? Does that sound like a wonderful plan? God loves you. God only wants good things for you. Why then is he calling in the pirates to tear us apart? Oh, but he'll listen to our prayers. He said, the one who does not listen to the Torah and closes his ears, he does not shema the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. Gosh. This doesn't sound like the gospel that I was taught. So now what do I believe? As I said, where's the plumb line? How do we know what the truth is? Okay, here we go. Aleph Nun means where? Where's the plumb line? Aleph Nun Kaf literally means plumb line. It means plummet, straighten, perpendicular, verticality. It's the letter I, which is why the letter I is written as a vertical. It means to reference the vertical. Anochi means, this is my plumb line. The 10 Commandments that he gave us. Anochi Yahweh Elheka. I am Yahweh your Elohim. I am giving you my plumb line. It's the word for egocentric and selfish. It means me right here. The word nun kaf means beaten, struck, invalid, invalid, nicked and dented, deducted, discounted, reduced in value, lame, contrite in spirit, a scoundrel, wicked, low, base, contemptible, killed, destroyed, defeated, inflicted injury. Not only is he saying the 10 Commandments are he the plumb line, but he also says, I will drop myself down to you. Like a plumb line. A plumb line where somebody up here drops something down. The word dalal, dalit, dalal in India is the lowest caste. It means to be depressed, to be droopy, to be poor and impoverished. It's a picture of lowering a bucket down into a well to gather up water. Why did he come here? He became the bucket lowered down to earth to gather us up to him. That's right down here. I will make a bucket and lower it down. You can see these things in the letters. It's right here. I will myself deduct myself. He was the Ein Sof, the unlimited. He will reduce himself to limited regard, an aspect reduced in value, he became what others called the wicked scoundrel, and they beat him and tore him apart, like putting your hand down into a bucket of snakes so they can bite you. That's what he did in order to lift us up to his esteem and his value. It's right here in the letters. Nun, kaf, vav, nun. If you had a vav, nun, it means, to put it into kind of the form of a noun. Nun, kaf, correct, true, accurate, right, certain, clear, proper, prepared, was made ready. He determined the plumb line. He made ready. Nun kaf vav nun he means true words. With a yod on the end, it means myself. I will myself lower myself down, though regarded as a wicked scoundrel. I will be the true word by which you can determine what is true, accurate, correct, clear, and proper, as I myself had previously prepared and made everything ready for you to have a standard by which you could tell, are you believing the right thing? That's what this word means. This word is the answer to all those questions I proposed. How do you know you're believing the right thing? If you're believing the Quran or the Torah or the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, or if you're a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Muslim or whatever you are, how do you know you're on the right path? He gave us a plumb line, but it's in Hebrew and it's in the Ten Commandments. I heard a Christian talk show guy on the radio, and a guy called in and said, hey, what about the Sabbath day? Saturday. And the guy said, that's not our covenant. He said, oh, what are you talking about? Are you telling that covenant's not the Christian covenant? Is he saying, and the guy called again, he says, are you telling me that it's okay to steal and murder and commit adultery? He says, I'm not saying any of those things. The radio guy said, the talk show host, he says, what I'm telling you, the Ten Commandments is not the Christian covenant. And I thought, well, I could argue about that. I said, no, wait a minute. Thank you very much. He made it very clear. They have a different covenant. Now, a different covenant means you've got a different form of relationship, different terms, different whatever. Now, I'm given a choice. It has to do with steering. A dalit is a choice. Do I go this way or that way? So, all of these years, I thought that the Old Testament, New Ten Commandments was the Christian covenant of the New Testament, just made clearer, made brighter, showing to us that we have eternal life for the sake of regarding it. And suddenly, these days, preachers are coming out of the woodwork, making it very clear, no, that's not true. They're two different covenants, two different peoples, two different promises, two different natures of relationship. The one has nothing to do with the other. Suddenly, now I realize why Christians and Jews can't get along and why they're on two different sides of the page. Now, I'm not against them getting along. And people who want to make a bridge between the two groups, that's just fine. But the Hebraic roots movement is absolutely not just trying to get Christians and Jews to get along. It's not this branch getting along with that branch. It's going back to the root of Yod He Vav He. The creator, the Yod, the hand, what he made when he made the universe. What did he establish? Hey, the revelation, the expression of the creator, which is the Torah. Vav, the man. Yeshua, the Mashiach, who was the incarnation in human flesh of the He, the revelation of Yod, the creator, the Word made flesh. And he said, I will not leave you comfortless. I will give you the Ruach, the He of the Yod He Vav He, is the expression of him. The Ruach is his expression. Well, what was he? He was the expression of the first He, the Torah. So the second He, the Ruach, has to match the first He of the Torah, which is the expression of the Creator. So here you have in Yod He Vav He the four ways he showed us how to know the truth. Yod, what he put into the creation. Hey, what he said in the Torah. Vav, what the Mashiach said. And the second Hey, the Ruach, which matches the Torah, which is exactly what Yeshua looked like, the Word made flesh. And when all four of those agree, that's the truth. The plumb line. Anoki Yod He Vav He is the word that came out of Anoki. So here you have Yod, He, Vav, He. So if you write it in Paleo, if you look at He, Vav, He, but here I'll just make it a little clearer. I'll show you the modern He, or the modern Vav. Here's the modern Vav, and here's the He, and here's the other He. In Paleo, the Vav would be like that. But it almost looks like kind of the menorah shape. It almost looks like the Paleo-Samic shape. It almost looks like a man wrapped up in the Torah. But this side looks like the Torah, the letter He. And this side looks like the Ruach, the other letter He. So here you have pictographically within this is that Yahweh is Yeshua, who is the manifestation of the Torah that looks just like the Ruach, but it's also any man. It's you. Yod He Vav He. Yod as a prefix means he will. He Vav He means to cause to exist or cease to exist. How do you exist? You're wrapped up in the Torah and the Ruach, which are exactly the same thing. And if he doesn't do what it says, he ceases to exist. Who is the Mashiach? The man wrapped up in the Torah and the Ruach. They're both exactly the same. I maintain that from these descriptions of these letters, that if the Holy Spirit contradicts the Torah, it ain't the Ruach HaKodesh. It's some other spirit that claims to be the Holy Spirit. And if Yeshua, the Vav, contradicts the Yod, he ain't the same as the Father. Therefore, if he looks like the Torah made flesh, that the Ruach bears witness of, and he looks just like the Father, Yod, He, Vav, and He are all the same thing. And that's the way you know you're on the truth. So if somebody comes up with a different writing, or a different revelation, or go back to Deuteronomy chapter 13, if someone, a prophet, has a prophecy and it comes true, hey, it must be Yahweh because it came true, right? Aleph Tav, as I said, so shall it be. Or a dreamer of dreams. If he has a dream and the dream comes true, oh, it must be of Yahweh. But if he leads you to stray from the path that I revealed to you, this is a test to see whether you will quickly stray. Yahweh has allowed certain prophets and certain dreamers to have their visions come true, just to see what we're going to do. And when we've proven that we will stay on the path, that guy was supposed to be put to death. If Jesus himself changed the Torah and told us to do away with it, he should have been put to death. If Paul or Peter and James starts a new religion and tells us to turn our back on the Torah, it's a trick, it's a test from Yahweh himself, and they should have been put to death. Does this sound like Christianity? Does it sound like a bridge between Christianity and Judaism? What has Judaism done? Have they made up their own stuff? We don't need to even go there. We don't need to go and hunt down what everybody else is doing. What we need to do is go back to the Torah and say, what do these words say? What did Yahweh say? What does he want us to do? Suddenly the only focus of any kind of Bible study for me is to say, what did Yahweh say? What are we supposed to be doing? The other thing I found is that somebody wrote a book called The Sons of Zadok. And I hadn't really come across that before. That was a few years ago. But he said there's a verse where it says, he won't unplug the false teachers. He won't cancel the commissions of the Kohanim who are teaching waywardness. Because some people like that stuff. But the sons of Zadok were a certain type of priest that were teaching the truth. The interesting thing is the word Zadok is this word Zadi, as I mentioned earlier, that actually meant righteousness. So Yahweh has seen to it to have a witness of the truth here and there. And those who want the truth will find the truth if they search.